So set the scene for me. It's 1977.
Well, it's later.
What's your origin?
1983. The marshlands of Long Island. I actually ate a irradiated Carvel cake.
The whole thing?
And the whole thing. And that's how I got my powers.
This episode of iFanboy is brought to you by GoDaddy.com and Netflix. Go to www.netflix.com/iFanboy for your free trial membership.
Welcome to another edition of iFanboy, the comic book discussion show from the website iFanboy.com. As always, I'm Ron Richards, and I'm joined by...
Conor Kilpatrick.
And by...
I am Josh Flanagan. Not as always, but I'll leave that story for another time.
Another time.
That has something to do with my secret origin. Anyway, we're here today to talk about origin stories. In superhero comics, there is nothing more important to a character, not true, than the origin story.
Oh, it's a huge,
I think you can say
it's a
that's
huge
true.
part of it. It's always, how did this character get to be who they are?
That's the first issue. The thing that happens.
Sometimes.
Superheroes, yes.
Sometimes you
After
have to wait
Wolverine, it's 40
years later, 30 years later.
And then a crushing disappointment. Anyway, we're going to talk about superhero origins because they're such a huge part, and I can't believe we've never talked about it.
I know, yeah.
When it comes to
We've
superheroes.
avoided it. It comes up in some of like origins. It gets real quiet,
Well,
awkward.
there's
and
secret origins.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
You know, it really is a thing that sort of defines when you come up with a new character for Marvel or DC or whatever. You have to have that origin story.
You got to know how the character came to be. If you're gonna,
And their motivation.
Yeah, if you're gonna tell me that this guy wears red and runs really fast, I want to know why. If you're gonna tell me this guy puts on pajamas and flies through the air, how? You know, I mean...
And then that also informs the character.
Exactly.
Like how they came to be, whether if it's in the case of the X-Men, that they were born with the power, or whether it was Superman who didn't have it, but then was
born with power as well.
Well, it was born with power as well.
Right, but he came here in order to activate it.
Yeah, or if in the case of Spider-Man, you got bit by something and something...
It was an accident.
Happened. You know,
Or you did it on purpose, or you have no powers at all.
Yeah.
But you've decided to don a ridiculous outfit and do something ridiculous. Let's be honest, it's ridiculous, but we ignore that.
Characters are all crazy.
They're stupid.
So...
They are.
Josh is done with the comics. This is stupid.
I'm
We
out.
just now realized this is stupid.
Yeah.
I'll be back here reading Proust.
So I thought one of the things that'd be interesting to talk about would be sort of what origins used to be as opposed to what they are now. Because in the Golden Age and Silver Age, shit was silly.
Yes.
I mean, it made no sense. You want to talk about the one I always think of is the Flash. Almost all of them have origins that are almost implausible. There's no scientific
Well,
basis.
all of them are implausible.
Yeah,
That's
true. Superhero thing.
The Silver Age origins are all science-based, especially in Marvel, because Marvel's all about atomic energy and gamma energy. So that was all science.
You kind of like you can almost get behind the Hulk.
Yeah.
Now, granted, now we know now that gamma radiation is just useful in cell phones, but at the time, like
all
they
of
didn't-
Marvel's origins would have resulted in cancer.
Yes.
It's true,
And death.
but there's a distinct possibility that a mutation could take place as a result of radiation that would create
A monster.
a monster or probably not wings,
Right.
but still, something like increased muscle density or something like that. Those are
You've been drinking
somewhat,
the Kool-Aid. You've been drinking the Kool-Aid.
They're somewhat possible.
Yeah.
Well, the X-Men are one thing, but characters like
Especially-
Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Hulk, these characters are all...
And especially in 1963. I
Yeah,
mean, we're doing duck and cover drills and nuclear tests and stuff like that. No one knows what's going to happen. The idea that someone gets exposed to gamma radiation and becomes a green monster could be real.
Right, and well, no, but I mean, it's sort of plausible as opposed to a magic being like, say, Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Who a wizard grants him his powers because he says the magic word Shazam.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
then that origin is sort of the time-honored tradition of storytelling. For hundreds of years, it's been the magical being grants you something.
Yeah, which is wish fulfillment, really, basic fantasy fulfillment. And then there's the other kind of origin, which it's not really powers based, but if you take like Batman, something like that. That's why did they do this? Where
I'm
did they come
pissed
from?
off.
Motivation and the non-powered origin, where like a Batman or a Hawkeye or stuff like that, where they don't have any powers but they're really good at something or trained to become good at something for a reason in order to do
There's a
something.
motivation.
The Punisher.
Now, the Punisher is an interesting one because that's one that. Okay, Punisher's origin, in case you don't know it.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
He saw his movie.
And he
got a gun.
He flew into
kill
a
everyone.
rage.
Killed everybody.
He's been looking for Thomas Jane ever since.
Not that one.
Dolph Lundgren.
Ray Stevenson.
Oh, yeah, that one. Wow, I see, I totally put that out of my mind.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
That's my own origin. Because he has no powers. He sees his family get gunned down by crime, and so he goes, "I'm pretty badass because I was a soldier."
By the mob.
He got gunned down by crime. Just crime as an entity just gunned his family down.
I like to think in abstract.
The mob, so he's a cop. He sees he gets into some dirty dealings. The mob guns down his family. He sees it happen, and so he's going to revenge. He's going to punish the people who did this.
Right.
And
Makes sense.
once he
Could
does
happen.
that, then he's going to punish anybody who commits crimes.
That could
The
happen.
Punisher's actually almost the only plausible superhero.
It really
He's not
actually
a superhero,
is.
but the only plausible
Well,
super character.
Is Batman?
No, because you couldn't do those things Batman does, but you could get a gun and kill. I mean, it
Yeah.
happened. It's happened.
It's true.
And,
I mean, one time I.
The crime rate's gone down since you've moved.
What I'm saying. A lot of people
Clean
say
up-
Rudy Giuliani.
Clean up the streets.
Yeah, that's me.
But he's the only
10
one
years
that's
ago.
kind of told
I can't even
plausible.
confront neighbors about noise. Excuse me, I have a baby. Could you turn it down?
Pardon me.
Or somebody like Tony Stark who has no powers and is
an inventor.
An inventor and invents a suit, an exoskeleton for all intents and purposes that can allow him to fly and shoot. That shit's happening now. You know what I mean? That's possible.
Except now it's an iPad.
Yeah.
So it's a team of
You can whack a
engineers.
dude with an iPad.
It's true.
So you've got science-based origins. Flash, chemicals doused, struck by lightning, becomes the Flash. The Flash.
Yeah, well, there's all the Flash ones are kind of like the Barry Allen ones. That every chemical that there was on a shelf at the police station.
Crime lab, so.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Every chemical? Can you do that? And it got struck by lightning, and that made
The
him.
most important thing was the super fast chemical, which was right in the middle.
Yeah, that's super
Well,
fast.
it's no more implausible than the Golden Age Flash. We told this in the Flash show, but where Jay Garrick huffed hard water fumes and was able to run fast.
And you could
what about?
I have hard water. It creates deposits in the sink.
Well, and also another Golden Age hero. Look at Our Man. Our Man pops a pill, and for an hour he's strong
Yep.
and it's powerful.
Now that's possible.
That's totally it's steroids.
They're really fast-acting steroids.
Well, yeah,
and he
true,
becomes
but still.
addicted. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
He must
yeah.
have no testicles.
I
I mean, none. Just nothing.
Just ask. Anyway.
So you've got the science, or the Spider-Man falls under getting bit by a radioactive spider. So then you've got born with it. So the X-Men or Superman or
Well, Superman's from the man out of
Superman's is different.
Superman's a man out of time and place origin.
Okay.
That's a different kind of origin, I think. There's the science origin. There's the revenge. There's a revenge sort of motivated origin. Batman, Iron Man, Punisher. No, Punisher. Actually, Iron Man's medical.
You think about that. We're gonna take a break and come back, and he's gonna figure that out.
This episode of iFanboy is sponsored by GoDaddy. Get reliable, secure web hosting without the long-term contract. GoDaddy's hosting plans are bigger and better than ever with 99% uptime and free 24/7 support and no annual commitment. Remember, you can download GoDaddy's free iPhone, Android, or BlackBerry app to order right from your phone, manage your current domains, and more. Check out revision3.com/GoDaddy for a list of all the amazing GoDaddy deals from Revision 3. Check out Fan8 for 10% off any order.
So Connor, what do you got?
Science accident origin.
Okay.
Then there's the man out of time or place origin.
Okay.
There's the revenge origin.
This is the born with.
And there's the born with origin.
Yep.
Is there any other kind of origin?
Probably.
But
I think everything can fit in those general.
find me a character that doesn't fit with one of those.
Yeah.
Well, what about like Spawn? That's
Spawn.
man at a time, and so sometimes you get combinations.
That's revenge.
Man at a time plus revenge.
Plus mystical.
Plus mystical. Yeah, you got the
And the
mystical.
mystical origin, that's the fifth one. So there's basically
Five,
kinds
these
of
six origins.
These seven
No
origins.
one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
So we've got that laid groundwork.
Yeah.
Well, let's. It's funny because if you think about it, if you create a character now, you have a lot less leeway than you did in the 60s.
Oh yeah, no, it's got to be plausible
Unless you
now.
cheat and you create the Sentry. Because you say, no, it's not a modern character, it's an old character, so I can make this ridiculous as I want.
But also it's harder now because basically every character's been done in some way or fashion.
That's
Right,
true.
and so you're combining all those different kind of things. And,
Now it's just start taking an element from this character, an element from this character, and you're creating
a wizard douses all the chemicals on you,
What?
and then your family. You have to
a
get
gamma bomb full of chemicals, every chemical in the world.
A gamma
explodes.
bomb kills your family.
Well, the thing is, if you look at
Like crime.
Marvel, and DC, there's already a structure in place that you can take any new character and fit it into that. This character's a mutant.
Yeah.
This character is an alien. This character, there are no more science accident ones like there used to be. They can't do it.
Well, now
You just say, oh, he's a metahuman.
People would laugh at it.
Yeah. And you can't do that. So that's why, like, if you look at successful, there's not a lot of successful superhero series that aren't Marvel and DC, but like take Invincible.
Yep.
You know, they just like he's an alien
alien.
because the alien suddenly becomes the most plausible answer.
because you can't explain it.
Yep.
Right.
And you can't. It's like, of course, there's
can't
aliens.
debunk it.
Yeah.
Actually, which is ironic because to me the best origins are those goofy Silver Age science or
Agreed.
60s origins. I love the Flash origin. I love the fact that he's just working away at the chemicals and boom, he's the Flash. I love the fact that a bomb goes off and he's the Hulk. And I love the fact that Peter Parker gets bit by a spider instead of dying.
Like, well, it seems like at that point, like the story was coming up with a thing that was really neat and told you something about what the writers were thinking. Like in the 60s, Marvel was about the world. It was about radiation, the fear of that stuff.
Yep. Hippies.
And now I feel like we've gotten away from what's important about the origins to like they're building the character. The origins may be a little part of it, but they can just sort of go, oh, he's a mutant. And
then it's more the motivation. Why are they doing what they've done and wrong?
But then again, a character like Batman, you didn't see his origin for years until he came out. I mean,
Really?
It wasn't the first story. It was like
They just introduced the character. I mean, that's why I almost like that. I like the idea of just start to run with it, and then you find out what happened, and after you build up some momentum.
Let's talk about Wolverine.
Yeah.
Wolverine is a character who had no origin, and that was his story, really. It was a mystery. He didn't know where he came from. And then, starting in the late 90s, Marvel and
Early
Paul
90s.
Jenkins...
someone drank
late
some
90s.
stupid juice.
Early '90s, Weapon X.
Okay, well...
Yeah.
I was thinking of origin, but...
Right. No. Yeah. But they. I mean, right around the late '80s, early '90s, they said, okay, let's start seeding things and
But
let's
it was
explain
vague.
how it was totally vague and open interpretation.
Right.
But then the movies started getting traction,
And Marvel decided to nail it down.
so the movies won't do it for them.
Stupid juice. Someone drank some stupid juice.
Well, you know... and-
Look, I'm sorry, it's stupid. It was the
Yeah.
worst thing they could have ever done was give Wolverine a set in stone origin.
in his name and a time and place, and I think it was more
Like,
fun.
I understand why they did it. Exactly, they didn't want
Yeah.
the movies to define their character, but at the same time, it was just the worst thing they could have done.
It was
to the
really
character.
bad. Yeah.
They should be. I don't know if they are, but they should be retconning that out. Be like,
That'd be cool.
he should be real. If I was in charge of Marvel, he'd wake up one day and be like, oh, these are implanted memories. I don't remember what happened.
I feel like, and then like every time somebody's like, "Hey, James Howlett," you're going to be like, "Oh no, that's not." That's
It's like
not.
whenever I started calling Kramer Cosmo. All of a sudden.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very
Or James on Lost instead of Sawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but
There we are.
so there's that. So that happened.
We're done. So which ones do you like? Which one? I like the Silver Age ones. Which ones do you like?
Well, I mean, there's a reason why I like the X-Men and I love the mutant, kind of phenomenon type thing, but not so much how it is now. I liked it how it used to be.
What do you mean?
Because what it was is that it was like your mutant powers came on set at puberty. Right, and so you weren't born with them.
It was a metaphor
It was and quite often they were triggered at a moment of intense stress. So, like, for example, Jean Grey, her telepathy kicked in after her childhood friend gets hit by a car, and she's bombarded with the friend dying, basically. And that's when it kicked in. The stress kicked in.
That's harsh.
Yeah, I know. Cyclops, his mutant power kicked in when his parents were flying a plane and it was going to crash, and they only had one parachute, and they pushed his brother onto him, put the parachute on Cyclops, and pushed him out the plane, and the parachute didn't blow, and so all of a sudden his blast kicked in, and that's what cushioned them landing.
Which doesn't make sense.
Right, but it was the idea, like, intense pressure. Same thing. Same thing with Beast.
Keeping in mind then, so that there could be a character who has some amazing power, but because they've been on Easy Street, it never kicked in.
Right, the latency type thing.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, which I thought was fascinating. Now they're born with it, and all these, they look weird. The Grant Morrisification of mutant powers is basically, what I think has taken a lot of.
That was the logical science step. Was that mutations continue to mutate.
Right.
So this many years.
Well, no, I'm not talking about the second mutation. I'm talking about how, like.
No, I mean that.
Yeah.
In the 1960s, your mutation is one thing. By the time you get, 30 years later, mutations manifesting as
The chicken guy.
Yeah.
or Beast and Angel have body parts that are weird.
Sure, yeah.
Just-
Well, yeah, but Beast, as we've talked about on our website, and I feel like Ryan wrote a science column about it. Beast is plausible. Somebody could be born with, his parents were nuclear scientists. It's, to your example, it's plausible that he could be born with bigger hands and feet.
Very unlikely.
Yeah, but still, I know.
There are professional athletes that are cute that are like
No, and it's
Yeah,
true. Like
exactly.
even if you think about things like
Andre the Giant.
people who have Down syndrome are extraordinarily strong. So, like, it's not unusual that there could be some sort of mutation genetically or somewhere along the line that could give you more
and
strength, agility.
I thought of all the Marvel origins, the X-Men were always the one that was like, yeah, that could happen. Like, I could wrap my arms around these red force blasts coming out of
It
their
just so
eyes.
happens that all these mutations are offensive power based.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, no, because that's changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Like, they've really gotten into.
Now they just shoot weird purple energy for no reason.
That was another time period.
You know, for me, I think, and this isn't going to surprise anybody, but I really like the origins that are about somebody sort of taking charge of themselves and deciding this is like a thing.
There's a joke there. Doing what you can.
Well, no, but you just say, I want to be more than I am. I want to be better than I am, and I'm going to put my personality, willpower, and strength into creating myself into something else to accomplish a thing.
Right.
And
Captain America, Batman.
Captain America got a little help, but it still is the same thing. Captain America is about him being who he is. Hawkeye's is ridiculous, but he did decide to be that. Iron Man.
We're gonna get to watch.
We're gonna talk about our favorite characters' origins in a minute, actually, when we come back. So we'll get into it a little bit more.
We want to thank Netflix for sponsoring iFanboy. Netflix delivers movies directly to your home, saving you time, money, and hassle. As a Netflix Unlimited member, you get DVDs by mail in about 1 business day. Plus, you can instantly watch thousands of TV episodes and movies streamed directly to your PC, Mac, right to your TV via a Netflix-ready device like Xbox 360, PS3, or the Nintendo Wii. Even your iPad. Watch as many movies as you want. Shipping is free, and there are never any late fees or due dates. Keep the movies as long as you want. As a new member and an iFanboy viewer, you can get a free trial membership. Go to www.netflix.com/iFanboys and sign up now.
Now, we talked a little bit about Cyclops, your
That was
favorite.
my favorite was Cyclops. The whole getting pushed out of the plane, and then that's when the powers kicked
Weren't his
in.
parents Shi'ar?
No. His parents were. No, what happened was that they're flying the plane. The plane's gonna crash.
He has to explain. He goes, and he takes a little extra breath.
The plane was going to crash. They pushed the kids out, and the plane actually got saved by a spaceship. And then I'm hazy on this.
Why?
But Cyclops' father became Corsair, the leader of the Starjammers. He was always human. Yeah, he wasn't.
Why were they in a plane?
His dad was a pilot. His dad was a pilot. Yeah.
But, so they were all just in a plane on a family trip.
They're going shopping.
But
Some shit went down.
They're from Alaska. Yeah.
You didn't watch Northern Exposure. You gotta fly everywhere.
Yeah.
I've never watched Northern Exposure.
That's what I said. You didn't watch Northern
Oh,
Exposure. You
well,
gotta fly everywhere.
apparently, if you don't watch Northern Exposure, this doesn't make sense.
Or if you don't have been to Alaska, Alaska's a lot of flying.
His family.
The X-Men was before Northern Exposure.
his family owns a commuter airline.
Okay, so they're in the plane, some shit goes down, and they said, oh, we are completely unequipped for safety.
Yes, pretty much. It was
They
1963.
shoved their kid out.
Shoved the kid
So
out,
the
yeah.
father had a lot of safety violations.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Was he smoking and drinking?
And not only not enough parachutes, parachute didn't work.
Right.
So not only did they not have enough
He's
for
buying that surplus Russian crap, because apparently Russia and Alaska right across. You can see
So,
them.
your favorite origin? You like the science ones?
I like the science
but
ones.
so you don't like Batman's origin? Your favorite?
I like it, but my favorite
I like
ones
it.
are the goofy society. I mean, that's what's fun about Silver Age stories. But I also like Superman. Superman's sort of pure.
Yeah.
It's sort of similar to the Cyclops one. The parents were all going to die. Shove the kid out the door.
yeah,
Let
sure,
me ask you this: what do you think about how some origins get retold over and over? So Superman's been adjusted 140,000 times.
But the main
might be
elements
too
of
many.
it haven't been.
Right.
Yeah.
They can change.
core
They can
of
change the
things.
dressing, how the Kryptonians dress. Were they germaphobes or were they the Silver Age style? But at the end of the day, Krypton explodes. Superman gets shoved out of the door.
Red Sun,
Yeah.
Adopted parents.
Adopted parents.
Blah blah blah.
Planet Blow, Rocket
Now,
Ship, Kansas.
have you read Batman's original origin?
Yes.
Anytime
It's
recently?
mostly the same. I mean, Batman is almost the quintessential.
Yes.
Superman and Batman are the two quintessential ones.
Batman and the Punisher aren't too far off.
His parents are murdered in front of him, and he becomes Batman. That's really that's the origin. It's never really changed.
Well, but then there's the bat, the filth in the well, and the whole.
Well, that's-
Criminals
that's
are a
not
cowardly
really-
and superstitious
And
lot.
the only thing that's ever changed about it is who the killer was.
Yeah.
He was an unidentified thug.
Yeah.
Which I like so much
Because he
better.
represents all the
crime.
crime.
Yeah.
They gave him a name.
Go chill.
And then eventually he hunted him down in Batman Year 2, and it was just
Yeah.
like
Jack Napier.
it's almost like the Wolverine thing. It's like too much information. It really waters down the
That's why,
universal impact of the origin.
I guess I don't know if it's an origin, but Batman Year 1 is my favorite origin story.
It's a good origin.
Probably.
He's Batman already on page 1.
Yeah, but okay.
It's not really about him becoming Batman. He's already Batman.
He's doing the training thing.
Yeah, but he's already.
Is he sword fight on ice?
He doesn't have the costume, but he is Batman, and that's the whole
Right.
point of it. And he's Batman since he's 8 years old.
So
Fair
your
enough.
favorite, the Hawkeye.
Well, yeah, my favorite character is Hawkeye, and he has the most ridiculous origin of all time.
Why?
He's working at a circus. He's basically got a massive.
By the way, there was a lot of rampant circuses in the early Marvel days.
this
Like
is it.
the circus was the place for crazy stuff to be happening.
And this is a book that I actually kept in plastic. This is
That's where the 60s happened.
Tales to Astonish 57, or Tales of Suspense 57 is an Iron Man book, basically.
Yep.
And Clint Barton working at the circus, and he sees a pretty girl, and he likes her. And then Iron Man comes along and does some stuff, and he gets jealous. So his plan is, I'm going to impress everybody by taking down Iron Man and showing what I can do.
That's his origin?
Pretty much. Yeah, he chases Iron Man around for the whole issue.
Iron Man stole his lady?
And he gets his ass whooped by Iron Man.
Yep.
And the lady is black.
Well, he starts off as a criminal too, though. I mean, from
That's
here,
not in here
Right.
so much. See, the thing is, in this, he isn't a criminal, but he does something criminalish. Like he goes after Iron Man, who's a good guy,
Yeah.
and so, but he's not doing it to steal anything from him, to hurt him, or to rob him.
He's
just
to impress a lady.
to show off. He's like, I can be with you too, and like that's how he ends up. He just wants to show that.
Be with you.
Yeah, he just wants to show that he can be in.
He wants to go
the
to there.
Avengers, and he wants to. He's as important as everybody
Ooh,
else.
cutaway arrow.
Yeah, well, lots
why,
of that.
Does it explain why he? Oh, nice. The cutaways are great. Why does it explain why the name Hawkeye or why? Like,
I think it has.
He's a marksman.
Yeah,
okay,
he's
and
he
the
has.
costume. The
That's his circus costume,
Okay, I see.
I believe. I'm
like
not
Robin.
sure. I don't remember that exactly.
But that's a kind of a... That's a
Actually,
very-
no. His circus costume appears to be this leather fringy Davy Crockett thing.
Yeah. So he's just putting on armor.
Well, it's part of it.
Yeah.
He comes up with a costume
Yeah.
so that he can go after him.
He's
And
becoming him.
I'm going to read it with italics. Now, inasmuch as most other costumed adventurers choose to wear masks, Hawkeye will do the same. So
Did he crochet the H on that?
he's really just a poser.
Yeah, he really
He just
is.
saw some shit going down that he liked, and he was like, I'm gonna do that too. But he
it's funny-
tries to stop a criminal at the beginning.
Was the lady that he wanted to impress turned out to be the Black Widow?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Continuity.
Yeah.
Not a redhead.
She's always
Been along.
she's a
It's been there the whole time.
source of all the problems.
Then later he quits the Avengers because he's unimpressed by them, and he gets a job as a security consultant. At which he fails.
Hawkeye's a bizarre character.
He's a bizarre.
Awesome. He's a jerk. Like, I think that if he was in your group, you'd be like, this guy.
He is in the Batman category of origins, but he's on the fringe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
totally.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
His revenge is getting the lady. He's not
Yeah.
he's not revenging anyone. He's not.
Well, his arc though over time has been that he turned into what he admires, which is Steve Rogers.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what it's about. But he's not that for a really long
Right.
time. He's a nerd. He's Urkel. You know?
in the
Nerdlinger.
beginning, it's all about getting tail.
Nerdlinger. So yeah. So basically, where we're ending out is that the origin of a character in a superhero is important, and it helps define it.
And they're fun.
And they're fun. They can.
And a little ridiculous.
Yeah, a little.
That's
bit.
part of the fun.
Yes.
So is there an origin that we didn't talk about that is your favorite? Email us and let us know at contact@ifanboy.com.
Call our voicemail line 888-FANBOYS, which is 326-2697. Tell us who you are, where you're from. Leave it briefish and have fun with it.
Post your origin stories on the thread for this show. No, don't, please. I was born in a small town in 1982. iFanboy.com is our website. We put a whole lot of work into it. There's all sorts of really good stuff there. So check it out. Comment on this show. Check out every single day for new content and other shows and the backlog. You can go to revision3.com/iFanboy for old shows, which are not old so much as classic.
New to you.
Yeah, it's our origin is in there.
And
Don't
you
watch
can-
the first one.
You can follow us at twitter.com/ifanboy for all the up-to-the-minute fun.
You know, my origin involves my two partners being murdered, and I then rise up to defend, their families. And
Wait a minute. He's talking about us. Hey, welcome to another edition of iFanboy, the comic book discussion show from the website ifanboy.com. As always, I'm Ron Richards.
I am Conor Kilpatrick.
I-
I jump on lines.
I am Josh Flanagan.
Hello.
Hello.
They're conditioned to say hello every time I say my name.
It's gonna-
Hello.
Hello.
Like a
Hello.
parrot. Anyway, we're talking.
Squeaky. Hello.
Hello.
This
Let's
is
start it again.
wow, that went up.